Hello, this is Terry Ewell, and I'm glad you're joining me for this series of videos on ornamentation. Some of my favorite music is from the Baroque period, that is music from the 17th and 18th centuries. One of the things I like most about this music is not only that we have a lot of concertos for bassoon and several sonatas, and they're certainly masterworks, but one of the things I like most about this music is that it gives me a chance to express myself not only as performer, but as a composer. And in Baroque music, the lines blur between performer and composer, much as the lines blur for jazz artists today. They're both performers on their instruments as well as creators of the music they perform, and Baroque music gives you the chance to do that. So let's begin our introduction. Ornamentation is adding notes to Baroque music. The Italians had another term for that. It's called diminution. And with diminution, you take quicker notes or faster notes and substitute them in the place of larger notes. Free ornamentation is a term I really like because it gives the connotation, the idea that ornamentation goes beyond just adding a trill or a mordent here or there, but it really changes the music. And we'll see some examples here. One of the outstanding textbooks on ornamentation is by Johann Joachim Quantz, and it's called On Playing the Flute. This is a historic text Quantz wrote on music and playing in his period of time. Here we see an example of where he gives three notes, C, D, E. He gives the chord, or the notes that would appear in the accompaniment. And then with that, he then shows all different sorts of ornaments that can be given. Notice it's not just playing these three notes and not replicating them, but in some instances, it's really quite varied. Some places you can see the outline of the three notes, but other places sometimes it's even a little more free. You can see that we add many other notes. So there's really an infinite variety to ornamentation. I mentioned earlier that the Baroque musician was a bit like the jazz artist of today. The jazz artist of today might practice scales and sequences, certain patterns, and likewise the Baroque artist of Quantz's day also practiced these scales and sequences. And here they're working on these three intervals, and his book actually contains a number of figures where he gives these sort of extemporaneous variations on different intervals. So why do we ornament Baroque music? Well, it is the tradition of Baroque music, and if you're interested in playing Baroque music so that it is close to the tradition, you will need to ornament. It is also quite necessary to ornament in many places in Baroque music. Let me give you an example. Here is an example out of the Vivaldi concerto La Notte, and this is the, well, I guess you could say the Adagio movement. The Adagio movement only has three notes in the bassoon part. These notes represent what's given in the strings and the continuo part. I think there should be a flat added here. At least I'd like to add one. But you can see this is a very boring movement if all you did was play one chord, and one chord. Instead, however, I see this as an opportunity for a cadenza on each chord, and I have written that cadenza out here, which you can see briefly. One of the later videos you'll get to hear that played. In addition, ornamenting Baroque music, it enhances the music and it allows the performer additional expression. I like that because I can individualize my performance. Here's an example of some ornamentation given by Besozzi. Here's his original melody. And next we see the ornamented melody. And notice how much more florid the melody is. He does add a little mordent here. He adds a scale here that really does change the notes in many ways. So you can see the ornamentation is quite free at times, particularly in the slower movements. The ornamentation does indeed vary by composer. Different countries had different styles of ornamentation. Naturally, as time progressed, ornaments changed. Composers have different types of ornaments that they're fond of. So that we can't really speak of a common practice of ornamentation where each ornament would apply, whether it's to Vivaldi, to Quantz, to a number of different composers. They will vary. Frederick Neumann, in his book Ornamentation in Baroque and Post-Baroque Music, does a good job of showing the differences between Italian, French, German ornamentation, and then in addition he gives special attention to J.S. Bach. So what ornaments are common? Well, appoggiaturas is by far the most common type of ornaments that you'll find in the music. You'll find trills, you'll find turns, mordents, also runs. All of those you need to be aware of in order to play Baroque music. Well, creating ornamentation could require a lifetime study. I realize that you want to get started with that right away, so I've given you some suggestions here in these videos for how you can do that. But you need to study source documents, that is the writings as well as the music from the time. Secondary documents are those that are written by those of a later period of time that study these source documents, and then be sure to listen to outstanding performances. I want to leave you with one excellent text I recommend highly to you. Robert Donington has a Performer's Guide to Baroque Music. If you could only get one book on ornamentation, I would suggest this. It presents a comprehensive yet readable approach to ornamentation, and one in which I think will be an excellent introduction for you. For further information, you can look at www.toread.net, BDP, and then the # ornamentation. God bless you. Thank you.